Welcome back. This is your introduction to Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to use the menu bars. I'm going to show you about the toolbars and some other important information about actually using the tool. And then once you understand the software, you're going to go to the next video, which will show you and start to explain the actual project. Okay, to open up Photoshop, you're going to double click on the Adobe Creative Cloud icon on your desktop, and then you're going to hit open right here where it says, like it'll look like this. Now mine says update, and I can't do the update from home because I don't have the administrator password, but I actually have it right here, so no worries. So when you open up Photoshop, what you're going to see is you're going to see a top menu bar up here. So it says PS, that stands for Photoshop. You're going to see things like file, and this is where you'd see, new or open. We'll definitely be using the open tab, and save once you start working on something. That's going to be really important. This is a software that's actually on your computer, so it's not web-based, which means that you need to save your work as you're working on it so you don't lose anything. Okay? There's edit, image, you can see right up here, layer. All these different tabs, we'll get into some of them, we won't get into all of them. So an important one to understand is this one called window. Window allows you to select all the different things that you might want open. Now for our project, you only need to have 3 palettes open. One of them is color, one of them is history, and one of them is layers. Those are the most important, and I'm going to show you how those work. So in Photoshop, you also have this thing on the side. This is our toolbar. So I'm going to actually open something up so I can show you how the toolbar works. So I am going to open something random, this one. Okay, so I just have a photo opened here. So with my toolbar, you can see that I have a variety of tools. And where you see these little arrows, these little down arrows, it means there's other tools underneath those. So these are just some of the tools that we have available. For instance, if I pick the paintbrush tool, you notice when I hover over the brush, it gives me this little window that pops up. If you want to learn more, or like you don't totally understand what the tool can do, if you click on the learn how, it will take you to a tutorial made by Adobe. So if I hold down the paintbrush tool, you can see under the brush, there's the pencil tool, the color replacement, and a mixer brush tool. We'll pretty much exclusively be using just the brush tool. But this one right down here, the gradient tool, if you hold that down, you have a choice of a gradient, a paint bucket, or a 3D material drop tool. We will be using the gradient and the paint bucket. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I clicked on the different tools, the menu bar at the top, see where the little houses, this changes depending on the tool that you select. So if I go back and I choose the brush tool, the tool changes up here. So now for my brush, I have different options. Like I can choose a different size, I can choose a different style brush. There's a whole bunch in here. If you have time and you're bored, you can play around with these different tools here. They're different style brushes. Okay. When I click on the gradient, same thing. It changes. I have a rainbow gradient selected, but if I click on this, there's tons of different choices. There's a magnifying glass, or it's called the zoom tool. It allows you to zoom in and out. Now you have your tablets, which are touchscreen, so you actually can do that without using that tool, which is kind of cool. And then down here, I have my colors. So I have my foreground color, which is the top one, and my background color, which is the one that's underneath. Okay, so on the right-hand side, these were those palettes I was talking about. So history, color, and layers are the 3 that you're really going to work with. So history right up here is basically all the different things that you do with this program. So for instance, if I take the brush tool and I do a little little zigzag thingy right there, it's going to add it right here. Okay, so eventually if I want to get rid of that, I can just drag that down to the little garbage can. Oops, hold on. And then it gets rid of that step. You'll be able to kind of like step back and forth once we have a lot of things in here. And so I'll show you more of that in the next video. And then layers. This is the most important part about Photoshop. So Photoshop is a series of layers, kind of stacked one on top of each other. You have to think of these like transparencies. So almost like transparency paper kind of stacked on top of each other. So right now I only have one layer. It's called my background. It's locked. Most of the time you're going to want to unlock this layer by just clicking on it and it unlocks it. It allows me to do like some different things. So I can make new layers and you will do this. And so now I have this second layer over the top. So I'm going to show you an example of what the layers do. So let's say I have this color here, purple. I'm going to apply the purple color completely to the layer over top of the city. Now, just see how the city is completely covered? It's because my layer one is purple. Now I can rearrange these and I can have the city over top. And now you don't see the purple. So if I want to see some of the purple, I can take this and I can make it less opaque. So I can have like a hint of purple. So I can kind of see the two different things in between here. So eventually what we'll end up doing is having a large number of layers, and we'll do different things on the different layers. You'll be able to see all of them at the end, except potentially for your first layer, but that will kind of depend on what you're doing. That's sort of the brief introduction to Photoshop. You're going to need to refer back to this video or any of the tutorials on the tools if you feel like you need help with those. I also have in Schoology, I have a page with a toolbar for you. So I'll show you that in the next video. All right, good luck.